Today, we're going to revisit the Patrick Mahomes duplicate 1/1 rookie card from yesterday because I can confirm that one of those cards was in fact patch swap. This story is getting crazier by the day. There's a lot more information to come and I want to share it with you on how I have known this to be fake. The other thing I'm going to talk to today is what these graders, what these manufacturers could have been doing better to protect customers from spending money, because it is a very simple fix from them. It's a very simple solution that they're dragging their bloody feet on, and it's not good enough, and we need a heck of a lot better. So I'm going to take you through that. But before I do, I want to quickly reiterate what I talked to yesterday, and that was the fact that a subscriber reached out to me and said, Daniel, I'd seen your series on these duplicate 1/1s. For those of you that will recall, we covered Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley duplicates, multiples for both, in recent videos. And he said, I bought this card on PWCC. I decided to do some research on comps and things like that, and I found this one on eBay. What the heck is going on? Because they are in fact duplicates, and we did confirm this in my video yesterday. And what he sort of asked questions about was the fact that it looks like it's impacting BGS and PWCC. Once again, is there collusion happening there? Daniel, can you help me sort of get an answer to this? Now, I should mention that before he even reached out to me, PWCC said they would be refunding him, which is good on them. But I basically did a video confirming for everyone that these were in fact duplicate cards. They're not different numbered on the back of the card. They're not differences in the checklist. They are in fact the same card. And it's either a mistake from Panini, like we've seen with some of these other cards, or somebody's doing some hanky-panky here and doing a patch swap. And it turns out the patch swap is the case, because I wanted to do a bit more research before I put out the video yesterday, but I wanted to leverage the knowledge base that we have in this hobby. And putting out that video meant that many other collectors would see it and then start digging as well, basically having multiple eyes and hands on the job. And to no surprise, Auburn35, who we've talked to many times on this channel, I feel like I say that all the time, reached out to me overnight Australian time and said, Daniel, I think there's something fishy here, because I found this card when I was doing my search, and it looks like they are the same card as the one on the PWCC listing, i.e. the one my subscriber reached out to me on. Now, he did a bit of a comparison and said they look like the same order to me, but I can't get them lined up. Maybe you can have better luck. I played around with this in Canva and got them to match up pretty well. They looked like they were the same card. To me, I was 99% comfortable that that was the case. I then reached out to a mate of mine who is a guru with Photoshop, and he basically sent me this that, without a shadow of a doubt, confirms that these are in fact the same card and somebody's done a patch swap. Essentially overlaid these cards, and it makes it pretty shockingly clear that these are in fact the same card. As you can see here, the video is playing, it's got both of these overlaid and it's alternating between the two. And the autograph is not moving at all. There's no fragment on this card that is moving at all. The only sort of differences you're seeing are the differences in the lighting between the website that we found, the other 1/1 in, and then also PWCC's auction listing. The only thing that's moving aside from the lighting is the patch itself, right? And you can see here, looking at it up close, it looks very, dodgy. It looks a bit suspect that it sort of overlays a little bit. It doesn't look as clean as what we saw, the previous patch looking like. And just before others maybe say, well, Daniel, just because the orders are the same, that's not a giveaway at all. Well, in fact, that's the most glaring giveaway that you're going to find, right? Autographs are never the same, no matter how many times you try and make them the same or how many times you sign. Autographs are always going to be different, right? I challenge every single one of you to go sign your name 1,000 times and let me know if you find two that are the same, because it's not going to happen. And then this is sort of further reiterated or proved within the next video, where he basically overlays them here. And the way that this was explained to me is that this is a bit of a functionality within Photoshop that allows you to sort of overlay things, and it will highlight colors differently if things do not match, right? And you can see here that when the orders themselves are overlaid, there is no color difference, right? The only real difference you're seeing is, once again, the glare itself. And because the two mediums for the photos were different, right? One was a scan, one was an in-person photo, the one we found on that auction site. Now, the same thing once again on the back is showing glaringly once again, these are in fact the same card. Yes, there are a little bit of differences, but it's purely down to the quality of the photo. In particular, the back photo is quite poor, but there's also a little mark over there that you can't see next to the surname that is on both cards as well. So now, with this in mind, it makes it very, very clear and makes us very, very confident that these are a patch swap. So then it starts to, ask a heck of a lot of questions. And, the one thing I want to talk to you very quickly is, once again, why Panini and Topps and every other freaking manufacturer need to be using a visual checklist when they're preparing their cards. And most importantly, if they're going to do it for anything, at least do it for 1/1s. Because if that was the case, that card that we found that we now know is patched up to the Nike tick would have been on this visual checklist, right? And when the graders or when the customers would have looked into it, they would have said, well, hang on a minute, this one that's for sale on PWCC's platform doesn't match anything that was released by Panini per their website. Something is wrong here. We need to do a bit more research. But because that's not there, customers have no freaking idea, and they basically get burned and struggle to get refunds from some of these businesses. The most important one, as one of my subscribers mentioned yesterday in the comments, was what the heck is BGS doing? Don't they track these things internally? Why was this not flagged as part of their grading process? Because obviously they've graded one first. So when the second one came into their grader, they would have been able to look on hand and say, well, the scan we have when we graded this other one, because they got to input it in their system, right? And they say, well, wait a minute, we've got two. The scan they had for the first one doesn't match the card that they have in hand right now. So again, what the F is going on? And again, why the heck have BGS not noticed this? And PSA is also guilty of this as well, based on what we've seen in the past. But what are these graders doing? What are these manufacturers doing to not spot this shit? It's not that difficult, right? Those processes that I just explained are so simple. Obviously, the visual checklist that these manufacturers would have to implement is a lot more difficult than anything else. But a grader, come on, you've already graded one. Surely you have a database internally that when you go to put a second card into your database, right, and say, well, hang on a minute, this one's also a one of one. We've already graded one. How is that not something you're already doing as a business? That would have protected this customer right here, right now, from going onto PWCC's platform and paying $8,000 freaking dollars. It would have saved them from wasting their money and wasting their time, because you would have flagged it during the grading process. But no, what happens? You've done it with the two Lamar Jackson duplicates, you did it with the Saquon Barkley duplicates, and now you've done it once again with the Patrick Mahomes one that we've just talked to. That's not good enough. And how many other ones has this also happened to? It's, utterly unacceptable. And the fact that this kind of shit keeps happening within this industry is not good enough. I talk all the time about the risk appetite with these businesses. They're stuck in the mindset of 5, 10, 15 years ago, when you go to buy a hobby box cost you $200, right? And you getting a card graded didn't end up in a card costing tens of thousands of dollars, right? It's not like that anymore. Yet the service they're offering us as customers continues to match the level of money we were paying 5, 10, 15 years ago, not the money we're paying today. This is a very expensive card, and they need to be doing better to protect customers. They're not currently doing it, and it is complete bullshit, and we need some answers from them. So I'm hoping some people that have a lot more influence than me can find this video and then talk to someone out at BGS, talk to someone out at PWCC, talk to someone out at Panini, because this is beyond unacceptable. This is such an avoidable problem, and the fact they're not pulling their finger out and trying to sort this shit out for us as consumers is ridiculous. And people think that Fanatics is going to come in and do things better. They think a new grader is going to come in and make changes. They think new businessmen taking over these businesses are going to make changes, but that's not the case, right? This stuff has been happening since the dawn of time, since this hobby started. It's not going to get better, and it won't ever get better, because the average collector does not give a crap. They just care about lining their own pockets, making a quick flip, and it is what it is. So apologies for that mini rant there, but I'm really angry about this, because it's such a simple problem for them to fix, and they just don't want to do it. I just don't get it. So if you think I missed anything, please let me know down in the comments below. What is most shocking about this whole situation? It's not the fact that it's just a one of one duplicate or a one of one patch swap like we've seen in this instance. It's not just one, because we've basically confirmed now that it looks like this is interconnected to the Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley's that we've talked to previously. It also looks like there's a number of other cards that have been patch swapped by this individual. I'm going to share that in my video tomorrow, because I think it's too much to talk to for today. I need to do a bit more research as well, but this is about to get a heck of a lot bigger before it gets smaller, and it could scare a lot of people, because I don't quite know yet how many cards are impacted. And based on the numbers that I've seen, you're talking potentially well over 6 figures have been, spent by people not knowing that these things have been patch swapped. This is pretty systematic fraud, and it should concern a lot of you as collectors, as consumers. So please stay tuned for that tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Cheers.